Hello, my babes. Welcome to another Self-Reflection Sunday. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I caught my brain in some societal programming bullshit around my relationship and how I broke the relationship rulebook that my brain wrote on its own. Basically, right? Essentially, here's what happened. My partner of, about a year now, but like when he asked, I guess it was a little less than a year. He had asked me to move in with him for the summer because a room in the house that he's at was being subletted. Okay. And at first, I was like, yeah, of course. Like, that sounds like so much fun and a great idea, right? And like, I jumped to that decision because of societal programming. Okay, let me explain. So essentially, with societal programming, right, we have this kind of idea of how a relationship is supposed to progress, right? So it's like you meet, you fall in love, then after a bit, or maybe right away, you move in together, right? And then what happens? And then you get engaged, then you get married, and then you have children, and you ride off into the fucking sunset with your kids. I don't know, right? Something kind of like that, right? And essentially, while that is a nice progression, right, there's no actual rules on how quickly or when or like what order you're supposed to do those things in, right? There really isn't, and there's no right or wrong way there, right? There's some things that like maybe make more logical sense in some orders and whatever, right? But really, in the end, like, it doesn't actually matter what order these things go, right? But for me, like, that's the story in my mind of how relationships are supposed to progress, right? And maybe you have the same. Okay. So when that idea was presented to me of like, hey, like, move in for even if it's just for summer, right? My brain immediately was like, yes, sure, like, that's a great idea, right? Until I started kind of noticing that, well, actually, I noticed at the beginning, like, right when we started talking about it, that there was resistance, but I was ignoring it. Okay. And this is something that we do a lot, right? Is ignore our own inner voice. Okay. And like, I've been practicing listening to my inner voice for like years and years now, and it still happens. You just got to be on top of it. So it's normal. Well, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, like, I felt the resistance, I ignored it until essentially the resistance got to this point where I was like, wait a minute, like, let me actually check in with myself. Okay. And that's when I realized, like, hey, I don't actually want to move in, right? Not because I don't love my partner, not because I don't want to spend time with him, but because actually me being in my own place and being independent right now is more important for me, right? And I can go into why a little bit, is because, like, I'm a person with disability, and I've been wanting to have my own place for God knows how long, right? And I am not ready, and like, I finally have it. Like, this is my own apartment, and I have my own space. I can get to be in my own energy, do whatever the fuck I want, right? Like, that independence and that freedom, I fucking love it. And I've been wanting it for a really, really long time, okay? And I finally got it and moved in here about 4 years ago. And not soon after, though, my ex-boyfriend moved in. Like, he didn't force his way in it or anything. I just was like, yeah, totally, move in, you know. That makes logical sense in terms of money, in terms of the next step in our relationship, etc., 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 right? So I completely ignored my own self that time, which is why I think I was able to catch myself more this time. But anyways, yeah, like I really enjoy having my own space because I've never really had it before. I've lived with roommates, I've lived with other partners, but I've never had just my own space, right? And it's really, really important to me. And that's why the resistance was coming up around um, moving in with my partner, even if it was just for the 3 months of summer, right? So I caught myself. I caught myself in just saying yes because of the societal programming, and also saying yes because, um, like, in a way, I didn't want to upset my partner, even though, like, he's totally fine with it, like, totally fine with me not moving in for, like, the summer, you know what I mean? But in my mind, I was like, oh, like, maybe he'll be upset, or maybe he won't want, uh maybe he'll think that I don't want to, like, be with him, or, like, I don't know, all this, like, bullshit shit that was in my brain, right? Anyways, so yeah, like, I said yes before checking in with myself, and then I had to backtrack later and be like, actually, no, I don't want to. You know, but actually in between that, and here's the other thing about um how we think relationships should look, right? Is that my partner and I actually broke up for about a week in February, okay? And because, like, our relationship was not working at the time, there was just a lot of shit going on that was not, like, we were not jiving, essentially, right? And so we broke up for about a week. And during that week, um, we kind of realized actually that uh, we actually had something really special, and that, at least on my end, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm actually ready yet to give this up, right? And so here's where, like, some societal bullshit stuff started coming in, and also, like, perfectionism in terms of, because I am a coach and I am a healer, right? um my brain was like, oh, what's that gonna look like, you know, breaking up and then getting back together? Like, that's not a healthy conscious relationship. That's not what it's supposed to look like. You know what I mean? So my brain was feeding me all of that stuff, all that bullshit of, like, how I'm supposed to show up, what the relationship was supposed to look like in terms of a healthy, conscious relationship. And because of also my career, it was just like, that's not gonna look good, blah, 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 like, caring about how other people were gonna perceive it, right? And thank goodness, though, that, like, you know, I have the tools to be able to be like, actually, that shit doesn't matter, right? What matters is how I feel and what I think. And so when I checked in, I was like, yeah, no, I want to give this another shot. I want to try to figure it out. These are the things that would need to happen for us to, like, move forward and build a different kind of relationship than the first one. Okay. um, I I laid it all out, and yeah, we ended up getting back together, and now we're just, like, we're in such a different place with each other. Okay, and it's like, if I hadn't been able to really check in with myself to be like, yeah, actually, this, I do want this, and I don't care what it looks like to the outside world, right? And these are the things I would need to see from you for this to, like, work for me. If I wasn't able to say those things, communicate those things, and, like, negate like the outside world bullshit, then I wouldn't be able to be enjoying the relationship that I have now with him, which is like I don't know, we have a lot of fun, right? I really, really enjoy like our relationship. And then so like I don't know, essentially I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, this relationship rule book that's in a lot of our brains, deprogram that because, like, if I had followed what I thought that I should be doing, I think I would be missing out on, like, all the goodness and healing and the fun and the magic of my relationship currently. And, like, I would also be maybe even, like, getting ready to move in when I wasn't ready, or um, with resentment on the side. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is one of the keys to, building the life of your dreams, which is to really check in with yourself on what you actually want at any given moment with every decision. Make sure it's not being influenced by the outside world, by society, by your parents, by your friends, right? And like like not internalizing those things and using that to make your decisions, and instead actually checking in with your own self on what you want, right? Because I think that that's the most important. You don't want to be living your life for other people, for society, for anyone else but you. Okay? So yeah, I guess to flip it now back onto you, in what ways are you still making decisions based on other people's opinions, what they're going to think, right? Or maybe there's some societal programming or programming from social media caught up in there, right? Check. Check to see if you're making decisions from that place. And if you are, it's no biggie, right? We all do it, right? But now that you've checked, what do you really want? What will make you actually happy, right? And then have the courage to ask for it and just like speak like speak your truth out loud and see if you get it essentially. And guess what? When you actually speak your truth and you like proclaim it out into the universe, usually it aligns for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of the magic of authenticity. It's the highest vibrating frequency there is, more than love. So stay authentic, babes. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Bye.